Welcome. Bienvenidos to Papi Patriarch's podcast. I am your host, Zeus with the Juice Z. That's right, Zeus Z, baby. And this is the second episode titled Becoming a Father. Becoming Papi. Hey. The title is self-explanatory, so no need to really explain it. Let's just jump right into it. First time becoming a father. First time becoming a father was tough. It wasn't an easy one at all. First to mention was that the caring of both my children were hard for my love, but the first time was especially difficult because we didn't understand what she had. We started off the pregnancy with the first two OBGYN saying that the pregnancy was not viable due to her HCG levels being too low, and they believed that she would eventually miscarry. About 8 weeks in, we were really getting worried because she was not able to keep anything down. It just didn't matter the time of the day or what she was eating. And just not listening to multiple OBs, in her words, she decided to stay pregnant. After about 12 weeks, she was finally diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidorum, which causes severe nausea and vomiting. It only happens during gestation, and the symptoms immediately go away following birth. It's a very rare disease that only occurs in 2% of all pregnancies in the United States, so very, very rare. All that on top of her being a rare blood type, along with a host of other complications that were sprinkled throughout the whole pregnancy, I felt drained. I know she definitely was. I was drained. During this whole ordeal, I was experiencing long bouts of anxiety, depression, anger, substance abuse, and though we had parts of her family that would help out and look out for us when they could, I felt exhausted from all the worrying, stressing, and just not having immediate family there made me feel like I was alone. Most of my family lives a state away from me, so it made it hard for them to be there. I was just at a weird place in my head, but I knew in my heart that I wanted more than anything to have a son and a family. Towards the end of the pregnancy, she lost about 40 pounds, which is a lot, but my son was healthy, and that's all we cared about. The day finally came to deliver. I had to ready myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. On Sunday, we intended on her having a vaginal birth, but it wasn't to be. After a failed induction, she would not dilate, and her blood pressure skyrocketed. It just started to rise really quickly. The doctor had us wait all Monday, but due to her preeclampsia or her high blood pressure, she had to have an emergency C-section the following morning. It was after about 10 a.m. or so on Tuesday that the doctor called me up to wash my hands, put on the scrubs, and then thoroughly wash my hands again before they put the gloves on. The surgeon talked to me and explained the procedure again and what was going to transpire. He asked me sternly, "Are you afraid of blood?" To which I promptly said, "Nope, not at all." Only thing that was on my mind, only thing I was worried about was her and the baby. I followed him into the operating room and sat down to hold her hand as she laid on the table. I watched what little I could see as they began the C-section. When my first son was finally born, my mind was everywhere all at once. He came out looking like a lot of other people in my family, where he's very fair-skinned with light brownish red hair or reddish looking hair, and I just remember holding him, and my eyelids felt like they were glued, like they were just stuck to to my forehead. I could see every detail on him. I don't think I've ever seen that clear in my life. But the most troubling part really was when he actually let out his first cry. It wasn't really like a cry. It was more kind of like an angry yell. like he was cussing in baby language or something. Like, it just wasn't a normal baby's cry. It was like he was pissed off at everybody and everything, and he didn't stop for a while. From there, we knew something wasn't right, and the doctors were really worried that it may be due to an injury or even low blood sugar. But once we got the blood work back and all the other tests, it came back that he was in good health. He was just one angry baby. But he was my angry baby, and I loved him. As long as he was healthy, I couldn't care less. As long as we can go home with him. When he did finally calm down, I watched him lay on her chest, and it was a beautiful moment. I could have watched him forever. When it was time for her to get a break, and all the nurses, doctors, and families left us to our newborn, I was able to have him all to myself. I stared at him, and I just told him, "I love you. I will always protect you, and you're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life." You know, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Um, Things didn't get any easier, and at times I wasn't sure how we were gonna manage. Something was up with him, and I didn't want to believe it, though all the clues were just leaping out and smacking me in the face. After a few years, I just had no choice. The projectile vomiting from his crying fits and other issues, I had to really come to terms with our first assumptions that something was not right. My love, she worked hard, she worked diligently to get the right medical professionals around our son, and the doctors and psychiatrists agreed that he is on the spectrum. When it was all said and done, uh, when I think about it, because when it really hit me and I thought about it, I realized, I'm like, when he was born, the reason why he was yelling like that was because it was sensory overload. So it was just too much for him. And I guess it's probably it's our first experience with the real world when you come out, right? So it was probably just a lot for him. It was almost about 2 years later that we had our second son. It was easier, only in that we knew what to expect. We knew what medication she was supposed to be on, but it was still rocky from the beginning to the end, with a lot of the same similar stuff as the first pregnancy. When I had my first son, I thought nothing would ever make me feel that way again. And having my second son just proved that to not be true. Both experiences were the best days of my life and have been the best years of my life. Even with all the chaos and frustration, there's been loads more joy and laughs than pain and tears. I dreamed and even wrote about having two boys when I was younger. So to see one of my dreams come true, man, it's just a great feeling. It's just beautiful. Throughout both births, I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues. I knew a lot of things had to change about who I was, and I felt like I was always fighting myself. Rightfully so, as I didn't really have the best role models when I was growing up, and I didn't have the easiest time making all the proper adjustments to being a father. It wasn't until recently that I really settled into fatherhood and what it means to be a good dad. It's Being a good dad, it's not just being there, it's being present, it's sacrifice, it's understanding, teaching, it's duty, and it's honor. Um, Hearing their first words, seeing their first steps, watching them try different foods for the first time, like lemons, and they make that sour face, or having a damn good pot roast. Nothing beats that. I'm getting hungry. Anyway, just watching them grow has been the most rewarding experience in my life, to say the least. Word of the day. Word of the day. It's that time of the show, you guys, for word of the day. Word of the day is brought to you by D's Nuts. Word of the day is depression. This is the last day of Men's Mental Health Month, so we have to talk about it. We have to talk about this depression. Now, look, a father's mental health is just as important as the mother's. Men don't only have to deal with sleep deprivation and anxiety from late night trips at ungodly hours to find weird food combinations, and God help you if you get it wrong, or whiny ass babies. Seriously though, many people don't know this, but men also experience hormonal changes, namely drops in testosterone, which can cause depression and mood swings. Men will also experience a myriad or a host of other physiological and psychological changes during pregnancy and even after birth. How most men feel, and I feel safe saying this, what most will agree to is that the father's duty is to protect, provide care, and be there for mama as she fulfills her duties as a mother with child. And what I'm getting at with this is, how can you be there for them if you're not there for yourself, right? When things feel hectic, because they will at times, remember, talk to friends, family, or reach out to support groups. You can go to Facebook and other platforms, or church if you're religious. Look, we have multiple outlets, and if you can't find one that suits you, make one. It's 2024, too much technology and knowledge out here. We have no excuse. Look at me. I couldn't find one that really fit my needs, so I'm making it. You need to be the strongest you can be, okay? Listen to me, men. You need to be the strongest you can be, both mentally and physically prepared, so that she feels safe and taken care of. Now look, years of study and research shows that chronic stress can negatively impact both the child's and mother's health. So if you want the best for your family, make sure you are taking care of that mind. Take care of the mental, baby. Look, link to studies and help in the description. Make sure you check those out. Next up, our final segment of the show, Honorable Fathers. And this part of the show, we honor fathers of the past and of the present. All right? That's what we do here. So let's get to honoring some fathers. All right, so first one up, honorable father of our past, Charlemagne Charles the Great. No relations to Charlemagne the God, at least that I know of. Who knows? Could be his long lost, 3 times great, twice removed nephew. Anywho, reading from history.com. King of the Franks and Emperor of the Romans in the late 8th and early 9th centuries, Charlemagne had 20 children, some with wives and others with concubines. All right, pimpin'. He insisted that they all receive a thorough education, including the girls. When one of his sons, known as Pepin the Hunchback, was found guilty of participating in a plot to kill Charlemagne, damn, son. It was expected that he would be executed along with his co-conspirators. Instead, the emperor took pity on Pepin, ordered his sentence commuted, and sent him to a monastery. Probably better than what I would do. Look, feel free to read up on him some more, I have links in the description. The guy had an amazing life and well worth the read. A lot of crazy stuff he did during his lifetime. So yeah, definitely check that out. All right, so honorable father of our modern times. So now I'm gonna break the rules a little bit, okay, on this one, but I picked Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. I know it's supposed to be one, but it's one of those, you can't talk about one without talking about the other. So Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. are the first and only father and son to play on the same team at the same time in Major League Baseball. And to top it off, the first and only father and son to hit back-to-back home runs. Though only Junior is a Hall of Famer, both are legends in their own right, known for their hard work ethic and being devoted fathers to their children. Definitely check out the documentaries. There's one that I found on YouTube, uploaded by Ryan Smith, Smacking Mental Health Illness Podcast. Very inspirational. Gotta check that. Gotta check that out. Look, being a father comes with joy, laughs, pains, heartaches, and I thank God for this amazing opportunity to learn and grow with them, and just to really learn what it means to be a good father. Hey, comment about your first experience with being a father in the comment section below. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching or listening. I hope you guys had a beautiful Sunday and have yourself an even better Monday. Until next time, you guys, hasta luego, and we out. Fatherhood.